अनि देखिरहेछ स्क्रिन देख्छ एकजनाले आन्सर गर न जसले भए पनि निशानले गर ल देख्छ है So when more than one fetus develops simultaneously in the uterus, that is called multiple pregnancy, okay? The most common type is twin, and rare types is triplet, quadruplet, okay? The overall incidence of multiple pregnancy is 3%. And the most common type of multiple pregnancy is twin pregnancy. So this class, I'm going to talk about twin pregnancy only. So what is twin? Twin is simultaneous development of two fetuses in the uterus, and it is the most common variety of multiple pregnancy. And when coming to the types of twin pregnancy, there are two types, okay? Dizygotic twin and monozygotic twin. So dizygotic is known as binovular or fraternal twin also, and monozygotic twin is known as uniovular or identical twin, okay? So there are two types of twin. One is monozygotic and second is dizygotic. So what is dizygotic twin? It results from maturation and fertilization of two ova by two sperms during a single ovarian cycle. Okay, there are two ova which is fertilized by two sperm during a single ovarian cycle. And babies bear only fraternal resemblance to each other. And 2/3 of all twin pregnancies are dizygotic twin. Incidence is variable and fetal sex can be same or different, okay? Because there are two ova which is fertilized by two different sperm. So the fetal sex can be same type or different, male-female or female-female or male-male. Membranes are diamniotic, dichorionic. There will be four layers of membrane, two amnion and two chorion. Placenta is either one, fused or two separate. So this is the picture showing the dizygotic twin. Now coming to monozygotic twin, the one ova is fertilized by one sperm and the fertilized ova divides and becomes two, okay? So 1/3 of all twin pregnancies are monozygotic. The incidence is constant worldwide, 1 in 250 birth, and fetal sex would be same. Okay, why it is same? Because one ova is fertilized by one sperm and that fertilized ova gets divided. That's why the fetal sex would be same. And formation of fetal membrane and placenta depends upon the timing of twinning. The outcome of twinning process depends on when the division occurs, okay? So I told you one ova is fertilized by one sperm and that fertilized ova gets divided. So if the division occurs within 72 hours of fertilization, that is before the inner cell mass morula is formed, then the two embryos, two amnion and two chorion will develop, leading to the formation of diamniotic, dichorionic, monozygotic twin, okay? So when the division occurs within 72 hours, there's formation, everything is different. There is formation of two embryos, two amnion, two chorion, and that is known as diamniotic, dichorionic, which occurs in 30% of cases. Second is if the division occurs between 4th to 8th day, that is after the inner cell mass and cells destined to become chorion has formed, and those of the amnion have not formed, then the two embryos will develop with two separate amniotic cavity, but with a single chorion. The placenta would be single. So this results in formation of diamniotic but monochorionic twin pregnancy. Okay, so this is the common type and this occurs in 65% of cases. And if the division occurs 8 days after fertilization, okay, if the division occurs 8 days after, when the amnion is already formed, then two embryos with a single amniotic cavity and chorionic membrane will be formed. Okay, so there will be a single amniotic sac and a single placenta. So this results in monoamniotic, monochorionic, monozygotic twin. So this is a rare type. It occurs in 5% of cases. So this is monozygotic twin, okay? There's a single sac, there will be two babies with a single placenta. So this is a rare type and most complicated type of twin pregnancy. And if the division further occurs after the formation of embryonic disc, that is after 14 days. Okay, so cleavage is incomplete, and the result in formation of conjoined twin. Okay, the baby will be attached at some point with each other. So, and there will be formation of conjoined twin. Okay, so this is just a picture showing monochorionic, monoamniotic, monochorionic, diamniotic. There is a single placenta but two amnion. There will be diamniotic, dichorionic, two placenta, two. So this is the picture showing that. Determination of zygosity. Why we want to know the zygosity, whether the twin is monozygotic or dizygotic. Why it is important? Because it is important in assessing the obstetric risk and also to plan the management of the patient. And if intertwin organ transplant is needed later in life, then it is important to know the zygosity of twin. How do you differentiate monozygotic and dizygotic twin? The placenta would be single in monozygotic, dizygotic it can be two. Communicating vessels is present, is absent in dizygotic twin. And if you look at the intervening membrane, separating membrane, in monozygotic there would be two amnion only, and in dizygotic there would be four. I told you two amnion and two chorion. Fetal sex would always be identical in monozygotic twin. It may be different in dizygotic. And the genetic features monozygotic, it would be same. Why? Because it is a single fertilized ova which has divided. Okay, so they will have the same genetic constituent. But in dizygotic twin, it was two different ova fertilized by two different sperm. So the genetic features would be different. Now coming to frequency of twins, monozygotic twins are constant worldwide. It is independent of race, parity, age, and heredity. And dizygotic twins are variable, and incidence depends upon the race, highest among blacks and lowest among Orientals. Heredity, family history of mother is important. Maternal age increases with increasing maternal age, maximum at 37 years. And parity, it increases with the parity. Nutritional factor, in taller and heavier women, chance is higher. Infertility therapy, if a lady has done ovulation induction with clomiphene citrate or gonadotropin, it increases the chance of having the twin pregnancy. And if she has undergone assisted reproductive technique, if she has undergone IVF and all, then there is chance of multiple pregnancies more. Now, how do you diagnose? From history, you have to ask, these are weak clues, okay? If the mother has older maternal age, if she's of high parity, large maternal size, previous history of twin, maternal family history of twin, these are all things we have to ask in history, and this gives us weak clues. Strong clues are recent administration of ovulation induction drugs, pregnancy accomplished with ART. Symptoms, all the elements of pregnancy, okay, that would be exaggerated. Patient will have excess nausea, vomiting, so everything, whatever is their normal thing of pregnancy, which is all exaggerated in twin. There would be increased nausea, vomiting, tendency of swelling of legs, unusual rate of abdominal enlargement, and excessive fetal movement. And when you examine, what do you find? The prevalence of anemia would be high because there are two babies growing simultaneously. Unusual weight gain not explained by obesity and preeclampsia. When you do the abdominal examination, the height of uterus would be more than period of gestation. There would be too many fetal parts palpable, and finding of two fetal head. And if you hear the simultaneously, if you hear the two distinct fetal heart sound located at a simultaneous hearing of two distinct fetal heart sound located at separate spots with a silent area in between by two observer, provided the difference in heart rate is at least 10 beats per minute. Okay, what does it mean? So you hear the fetal heart sound at two different places. Okay, the two different doctors hearing the fetal heart sound at two different places. And if you find two fetal heart rate with a difference of 10 beats per minute, then that means these are two different fetal heart sounds. Now, coming to radiological examination, abdominal X-ray can be done when you can see two fetal head or two fetal spines. But these days, abdominal X-ray is not done to diagnose twin pregnancy because we can use ultrasound. Okay, ultrasound is available everywhere, so you can just order ultrasound, and the radiologist will do ultrasound and say that the lady has twin pregnancy. Pregnancy outcome. Why we are so much worried about twin pregnancy? Why we are talking about that? Because it is the condition which is associated with different maternal and fetal complication. Okay, and coming to maternal complication, it can be antenatal, intrapartum, and postpartum complication. So, what are the antenatal complication? There would be exaggerated ailments of pregnancy. There would be hyperemesis gravidarum, abortion, vanishing twin. One twin is lost or vanishes before second trimester. Anemia, increased iron and folic acid requirement. Preeclampsia occurs in 25% of cases. Polyhydramnios, it occurs in 10% of cases. And antepartum hemorrhage would be there. It could be because of placenta previa or abruptio placenta. There can be mechanical discomfort to the lady because the abdomen is unduly enlarged, so there would be palpitation, dyspnea. Sometimes patient may present with varicosities. There would be premature rupture of membrane also. Malpresentation, it's more common for second twin. Vertex and vertex presentation is 40%. Malpresentation occurs more commonly in second twin. And the chance of having preterm labor is 30%. Intrapartum complication, there would be early rupture of membrane and cord prolapse, prolonged labor, chances of having locked twin, increased operative interference in the intrapartum period. And in the postpartum period, the most dreaded complication of obstetric, that is postpartum hemorrhage, can occur. And in the puerperium, there would be subinvolution and puerperal sepsis. Coming to fetal complication, the most common one is patient can have, I told you 30% of them can go into preterm labor. So prematurity is the most common complication. There would be chances of intrauterine fetal death, chances of having congenital malformation, which is more common in monozygotic twin, and increase in perinatal mortality rate. The perinatal mortality rate is increased 4 to 5 times due to prematurity, preeclampsia, malpresentation, congenital malformation, and abruptio placenta. Now coming to those are the complications I was talking about. Those complications can occur in any pregnant woman, okay? And it is more in twin, but there are some unique complication of multiple pregnancy. Monoamniotic twins, okay? Both, I told you, when the division occurs after 8 days, then the two babies are formed, but they occupy a single amniotic sac and they have a single placenta. So both fetuses occupy same amniotic sac. There is extremely high perinatal mortality rate, which is around 50%. And increased chance of IUD due to cord entanglement and also due to prematurity, congenital malformation, and twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome. Route of delivery is cesarean section, as this avoids cord problem and twin entanglement during delivery. So when you see a monoamniotic twin, you have to explain about the high perinatal mortality rate, and the route of delivery is by cesarean section. Second is discordant twin. Discordant twin means the one baby is growing properly and the second baby is not growing that properly. When there is a discrepancy of weight between the two twins, more than 20%, then that is called discordant twin, discordant growth. Smaller twin is at risk for perinatal complication, and causes for discordant growth are unequal placental mass, genetic syndromes, and twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome. So whenever you see discordant growth, then the route of delivery is by LSCS. This is the discordant growth, okay? You can see a baby growing properly, and the second one is smaller one. Twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome. It is seen in monochorionic twin. There would be existence of vascular communication, artery to vein, between fetuses causing circulatory imbalance. There's a very high perinatal mortality rate, 60 to 70%, and causes of anemia there will be anemia in one and polycythemia in another. Recipient, due to increased intravascular volume, develops cardiomegaly and congestive cardiac failure and frequently dies in utero. So it develops polyhydramnios. Donor twin has retarded growth and will develop hydrops fetalis and high output failure if anemia is severe, and it develops the oligohydramnios. So this is twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome. You can see one baby which is polycythemic. This is the polycythemic one. And this is the one baby which is a donor baby. The third problem unique to twin is death of a co-twin. Okay, one fetus dies remote from term and pregnancy continues with one living fetus. What is the risk? There's a transfer of thromboplastin from dead fetus, producing thrombotic arterial occlusion, multiple encephalomalacia, leading to neurological sequelae in surviving fetus. The fourth complication is a cardiac twin. Maybe they are not going to ask you this, but it is good to know. There's a rare malformation unique to twin. One twin has no cardiac structure, and the circulation of both twin is maintained by the other twin's heart. Okay, so the circulatory load is so high to normal twin that it will die of high output failure. Mortality rate for normal twin is more than 50%. So this is a cardiac twin. Okay. One baby is growing normally and the other do not have the proper development. The interlocking of twin, this is another complication of twin pregnancy. The perinatal mortality rate is very high, 60 to 80%, occurs when breech vertex presentation is allowed to deliver vaginally. If the first baby is breech and second is vertex, and if you plan to deliver her vaginally, there is very high chance of interlocking of twin. What happens is first twin is delivered partially and there is difficulty in delivering the head, which remains high in pelvis. And at the same time, the head of the second twin engages and interposes between head and the body of the first twin, leading to interlocking. Okay, so the mode of delivery is always cesarean section, and death of the first twin is almost certain because the baby, half the baby is delivered already. Okay, only the head is inside. So that's why the first baby will die, but you can salvage the second baby sometimes. So this is the interlocking. Here, this is the first baby where you are delivering, and before this head engages, the head of the second baby engages and interposes in between. Now you cannot deliver this vaginally, and we have to go for cesarean section. Conjoined twin is a rare phenomenon. It occurs in 1 in 25,000 to 1 in 1 lakh births. It results from incomplete fission of the embryonic disc. It occurs in monozygotic twin and occurs predominantly in the female fetus. The ratio is 3:1. Classified according to the site of union, thoracopagus is joined at chest, omphalopagus is joined at the anterior abdominal wall, pyopagus means the babies are joined at buttocks, craniopagus is joined at the head. So whenever you see a conjoined twin, you have to deliver them with cesarean section. Now coming to management of twin pregnancy, whenever you diagnose twin, okay, so you suspected twin and you have sent her for ultrasound and the ultrasound says there is twin pregnancy. Now the management starts from the antenatal period. So you have to diagnose twin at the earliest period of gestation. Diet, you increase the calories by 300 kilocalories per day over and above that needed in a single pregnancy. Supplement therapy increases iron 60 to 100 milligram per day. Folic acid is 1 milligram per day. Frequent antenatal checkup is required to detect anemia and preeclampsia earlier. USG every 4 weeks to monitor growth of two fetuses, because just by palpating you cannot confidently say that both the babies are growing properly. And vaginal and urinary infections should be recognized early and treated, because these two conditions can also cause preterm labor. And as a twin is a high risk for preterm labor, so we have to screen for these infections and treat. Rest is 10 hours at night and 2 hours in morning and afternoon after 22 weeks. Route of delivery It depends, okay? Whenever you plan the route of delivery, it depends. Only you can allow vaginal delivery only if the first baby is cephalic presentation, okay? Now, coming to indication for cesarean section, twin specific indication is if the first baby has malpresentation. If the first fetus is breech or transverse lie, then you should not be going for vaginal delivery. You should always go for cesarean section. And second is monoamniotic twin. I told you also to prevent cord problem. If it is a discordant twin, conjoined twin, or interlocking of twin, these are all indication for cesarean section. And other indication are previous cesarean section with multiple pregnancy or severe preeclampsia, placenta previa, cord prolapse of first twin. Just like a single baby, even in twin, you have to go for cesarean section. Management of labor and delivery. And if the first baby is a cephalic presentation and if there's no other complication, you can allow her to have vaginal delivery, okay? And deliver in well-equipped hospital, informed anesthetist and pediatrician. Blood should be kept ready, open IV line, careful fetal monitoring should be done, and progress of labor should be monitored. Internal examination to be done once membrane rupture to exclude cord prolapse. Liberal episiotomy is to be given as manipulation is needed to deliver the second twin. Do not give oxytocin after delivery of first baby. Baby should be handed over to pediatrician and labeled as twin 1. After delivery of first twin, the live presentation and FHS of second baby is ascertained by abdominal examination. Vaginal examination is done to know the status of the membrane, to exclude cord prolapse, and to confirm the abdominal findings. If the second baby, once you have delivered the first baby, you have to confirm the presentation, lie and presentation of the second baby, okay? If the second baby is longitudinal lie, that means if it is a cephalic presentation, it can be cephalic or it can be breech. So what you do is, if it is a cephalic presentation, then you can allow her to have vaginal delivery. So what you do is, if the membrane is not ruptured, you just rupture the membrane and augment the labor if the contraction is not enough, and then you can allow for vaginal delivery and do it vaginally. If the second baby is breech presentation, then you can go for assisted breech delivery. She can deliver the breech vaginally, okay? So you can go for assisted breech delivery. And you just like the cephalic, you rupture the membrane, you augment labor, and you do breech vaginal delivery. If the second baby is transverse lie, then what you do? So you can, if a second baby is transverse lie, you can do external version, okay? So you can just try to rotate the baby pod abdominally to make it cephalic. And if it fails, you can make it breech, okay? Transverse, either you can bring the head down or you can bring the buttocks down. If the external version fails, then internal podalic version and delivery by breech extraction can be done in OT under, okay? So this is the only indication of internal podalic version in modern obstetrics. You do internal podalic version only in case of second twin transverse lie, okay? So in other condition, you don't do it. Urgent delivery is required if there is vaginal bleeding following delivery of the first twin, cord prolapse of second twin, use of oxytocics following birth of first child, and features of fetal distress. So whenever you need urgent delivery, what you do? In cephalic presentation, if head is low down, you can use vacuum or forceps. And if the head is high up, still you can use vacuum. And this is the only indication of using vacuum in high head, okay? Otherwise, in any other condition, you don't apply vacuum in high head. If breech presentation is there, and if you want to deliver very fast, then you have to go for total breech extraction under general anesthesia. And if you cannot do it, if you're not trained to do it, then you have to go for cesarean section immediately. Management of third stage, it's similar to any other active management. So you give oxytocin 10 units IM at the delivery of anterior shoulder of second twin. You should not be giving oxytocin after delivery of first twin, okay? Placenta is delivered by control cord traction. Uterine massage is done following delivery of the placenta. And you have to continue oxytocin drip for at least 1 hour following delivery of second twin. And the dreadful complication of twin is because there is overdistension of uterus, so uterine atony can happen and patient can have postpartum hemorrhage. So patient should be washed carefully for 2 hours for PPH. So that's all for twin pregnancy. Aita. Thank you. बुझे कि बुझेन क्वेसन पनि सोधेन तिमीहरूले बिचमा रोक्दा पनि रोकेन